Hey guys, and welcome to Chaotic Cooking. Today I'm going to be showing you how I make my signature Black Forest cherry chocolate cake. This cake is a great and fun recipe that you can use for parties, birthdays. It's a really lush and decadent cake, but it's super versatile, so it can be used for a whole slew of gatherings, or if you're just craving a yummy chocolate cake. 1 3/4 cup of flour. This is one of my favorite things to make. It was one of the first cakes that I made for my husband when we were dating, to kind of impress him. It's such a yummy cake, and it looks so pretty when we're done with it after it's decorated. I'll show you how I decorate it. It's really simple, but the simplicity does not take away from how nice of a recipe it really is. So for sugar, we're going to add 2 cups of sugar. Somehow without spilling it. Although this is chaotic cooking and a spill is bound to happen. I'm going to break up these chunks here. Over here, we're going to add our chocolate, our cocoa powder. That's 3/4 cup of cocoa powder. You're going to use 1.5 teaspoons of both baking powder and baking soda. Make sure you get it all out of the bowl. Then you're just going to mix that up. After I'm done mixing the dry ingredients here, we're going to add in the wet ingredients. And once those are all really blended together, I'll be adding chocolate chips. Now, these are the dark chocolate chips. Oh, there are oven preheated. These are dark chocolate chips. Again, they're the Great Value brand, just as good as the Nestle, or if you want to use Hershey's, but at a fraction of the cost. I like to add them in to make it a little bit of a richer cake. They sink to the bottom of your pan, but this is a 2-layer cake, by the way. When you put the layers together, you'll add frosting in between the layer, but when you put them together, it'll have the frosting layer, but also the chocolate chip layer meeting in the middle. So it's so rich and yummy and just super decadent and lush. Okay, so those dry ingredients are mixed. Now we're going to add our wet ingredients. This is 1 cup of milk in our pineapple measurer. A 1/2 cup of oil. And 2 eggs. Today I'm using my immersion blender, but you can use a hand mixer or a mixing stand, or whisk even if you want to. Mixing it on low. So it's going to thicken up quite a bit, which is good. That's what you want, because our next wet ingredient that we're going to add is 1 cup of boiling water. I just stick it in the microwave for 1 minute to 1.5 minutes, depending on the wattage of your microwave, and you pour it in. Okay, so now we're going to add our boiled water. That's 1 cup of boiled water. Pour it in. This is going to make your thick batter really, really runny. So don't freak out and think it's wrong. That's the way it's supposed to look. Okay, so that is our batter. Next you want to do is pour about 1/2 of the batter into your pre-dressed baking dish. It's just you rub butter on the dish and flour it and tap out the excess flour, and you bake it. What I'm going to do is pour it into the dish, and you want to fill it about halfway full, that way it has space to rise. So once I pour the batter in, I'm going to add our chocolate chips. And like I said, this is a 2-layer cake, so ideally you'll have 2 pans at a time. And just spread the chocolate chips throughout. So these will stay at the bottom, like I mentioned, and the cake will rise above it. And once you layer the cakes together, they'll make a nice, rich middle. And this is a fun way to customize the cake if you want. I'm using dark chocolate chips, but you could do milk chocolate, or you can do white chocolate, butterscotch even, although later on we're going to be adding cherries to make this a cherry cake. So butterscotch won't really mix well with that, but if you didn't want to add the cherries, you could still use this recipe and just play with the different types of chocolates and flavors you could put in. Alright, this is going to go into the oven for 30 minutes, and when we come back, we will be decorating and layering the cake together. See you in a minute. Okay, so here we have our baked cakes, and we are going to decorate them. We've got our 60% dark chocolate chips. They're a flat, round shape, and these are made by Ghirardelli. And we have our frosting and some leftover dark chocolate that we were adding to the batter. And here we have our cherry pie filling. I have opted to use the low sugar or no sugar added can, but you can do the regular. I think the low sugar, no sugar added option is great because this is such a rich, heavy cake. When you use the no sugar added option, it creates a lighter flavor. Less sugary at least. Alright, so now we're going to move straight into decorating. As you can see, when I took this guy out of the pan, it kind of broke a little, but that's okay. We're going to cover it up with frosting, and we're going to cover it up with cherries in the middle. Nobody's going to see it, and it's going to taste perfect. I'm just going to start with the frosting. Slightly cover the top. Like so. So for the frosting, I am using pre-made can of frosting. As a mom, I gotta pick and choose my battles on what I want to spend my time on. Making frosting is not one of those things. But hey, if you've got the time to do it, more power to you. I will link you in my post. I will link you a recipe to some buttercream frosting that I like to make. I have done it a few times when I have the time to do it, and it's great. Okay, so just kind of lightly frosted it, not super thick, and we're going to cover the sides.